What's up, everybody? Welcome back, and I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers, bringing you guys your daily hail forecast, sponsored as always by C3 Group, Merlin Law Group, American Contractor, and Atlas. You guys can go ahead and check them out in the description to this video. Hope everybody had a great Memorial Day weekend. We're getting into weather now that we're back into the work week. We got storms sneaking towards the Colorado Front Range. They've kind of been lingering there, I guess, for the past few days, and it's going to continue like that for the next 48 hours here. We got storms in that area for today. Denver's chances specifically are better tomorrow than they are today, looking like most stuff is going to stay out east into today's risk, but we'll talk about the actual I-25 corridor into tomorrow's forecast later on in the show. And then we're also talking about the South Plains potential later on this week. There is a chance that Oklahoma and possibly Texas could see severe storms returning, but it's going to be towards the later half of the week. So getting into all of that good stuff here in a second. But first, we are going to be at the Atlas All-Stars Stadium Tour. We're still at the Atlas All-Stars Stadium Tour. It's been going on all summer, and we've got more events coming up here, but the next one is going to be at the Raymond James Stadium in Tampa, Florida here on June 7th. Derek is the keynote speaker at these, in case you guys missed it, and he's going to be giving you guys all sorts of good weather info, as well as giveaways and all sorts of prizes. So if you like that, go out to Tampa, Florida, and see Derek there. You guys can check out atlasroofing.com/events to go ahead and get registered for that. And then when it's time for the next one in Dallas, Texas on June 14th, we'll give you guys more info about that one as well. So for right now, pretty clear across most of the nation. Here's where we got our risk through the Central Plains, all the way pretty much from 25 eastward into the Mississippi Valley. Pretty clear and sunny out there right now. And then up towards Minnesota, where we'll have the northward extent of our risk, we do have a little cloud cover making its way out. But in terms of temperature and in terms of forcing for these storms, there's enough to get us some severe weather right now. We're sitting in the 70s and 80s across most of the U.S. And we've got this kind of diffuse. It's very weak, but we do have a trough making its way through the western U.S. and another shortwave trough making its way up through the Minnesota and North Dakota region right now. And with both of those, we could get some storms popping up along the cold fronts that they'll bring. So for dew points, those are continuing to shift out east. 47-degree dew points in Denver, 66 out in Wichita. So nice and humid through most of the Central Plains. That's where we'll be seeing storms into the next few hours. And they've got some humidity to work with, just again, not a whole lot of forcing. There's that trough that's out through the western U.S. right now, and that'll help us spark some storms a little further east towards the Colorado Front Range. And then this other shortwave trough will help us get more storms later on this afternoon. As that shifts off to the east, we will see it starting to look a little better by tomorrow afternoon, and again, it's making its way towards Colorado, and with that, we could potentially see more storms in the Denver all the way down to Pueblo region, through Colorado, tracking off to the east into your Thursday, and then there you go with more storms on the horizon possible then. However, starts to lift up a little bit into the later half of the week. We still will have this trough that's trying to advance, but at the same time it's weakening. So that's kind of why we're like, there might be some storms later on in the South Plains, really dependent on how long this can maintain its strength before it gets sucked back up into the jet stream later on for your late Friday and Saturday. So watch in Oklahoma, Texas for Friday and Saturday, but for now, sticking to the Front Range, some in the Central Plains, and then, we got Minnesota in the risk today with that first shortwave trough. So got some instability here present on the board when we got storms forming around 4 p.m. And there we go by 9. Plenty of it to continue as those storms shift off to the east. So there is a potential we could see some pretty strong storms tonight. thinking more on the wind end of things, and we'll take a look at that in a second. But either way, these storms are going to have more instability to move into the evening, overnight hours, as that humidity continues to stream up into the Central Plains and fuel more storm development. Then into tomorrow, we're going to see instability kind of weaken and then resurface here again by 4 p.m. out in the High Plains Front Range area, and that's where we'll continue to see those storms popping up into tomorrow afternoon. So for right now, here's what we're looking at in terms of severe weather. Very brief hail chance out in eastern Colorado with a couple of these isolated cells. Now, could be potentially a ton of small hail that we tend to see in Colorado. And so watching for that. And then as we track off to the east, things band up really quickly. And so again, we're looking at probably a pretty robust wind threat into later tonight as this band tracks off to the east. And then we'll get storms tracking through all the way south into the Amarillo area with a chance for severe wind as well as maybe some small hail here and there. Tracking into Nebraska, into Kansas with that wind threat, more storms developing out near Missouri and Kansas into this afternoon, evening, and then eventually tomorrow morning, and we could get some severe hail with that. Then up in Minnesota, with that little shortwave trough, you got some storms popping up by around 4 p.m. Now we're pretty far north here, so not as much instability as we'd like to see, and not as much lift as we need to get a ton of large hail, but enough to get us some quarters here through Minnesota. Even the Minneapolis area could get some storms developing by around 9 p.m., pushing out through Duluth and into Wisconsin by the late evening and overnight hours before we start to fizzle out and just see some general thunderstorms here and there, rumbles of thunder for you guys on your Wednesday morning. So for hail, all of those areas outlined here, the largest hail probably sticking to the High Plains region here, maybe some ping pong balls here and there. It's going to be very scattered today in terms of hail, so low end across the board for everyone. However, the most hail is going to be likely along the Lyman, Kit Carson area, all the way through just west of North Platte. Nebraska could potentially see a little bit more hail popping up before things really form into a line. And then we're mostly in a wind threat through Colby, through Salina, through Kansas City, as well as maybe a couple of spots of severe hail here and there, quarters to $50. Same for you guys in Minnesota, Sioux Falls, a couple of quarters possible with some of those storms that are tracking off through this afternoon and evening. For wind though, could see some higher wind gusts tonight with that bowing structure that we're seeing on our forecast radar just racing through Nebraska and Kansas into this afternoon. So Colby and North Platte got a better chance for you guys to see high winds into today, and I'm thinking there could be some gusts here and there upwards of 74 and 75 mile an hour range into tonight. So be on the lookout for that if you guys are through western Nebraska or Kansas tonight. But everywhere else, low end chance to see a gust or two, upwards of 60 miles an hour, cutting you guys out in Minnesota and Wisconsin. Looking like things are going to stay mostly in a singular cell form, so you'll likely get more hail than wind. But everywhere else where you got that band tracking through, wind is on the table, and we're watching that into this afternoon. Then for tomorrow, now we're just talking about the High Plains and Front Range. And again, Denver, Colorado Springs, Pueblo, you guys have a better chance to see some larger hail into tomorrow when things develop over I-25. 4 p.m., got a chance to see some larger hail with those cells. And then we're just getting a whole mess here a few hours later by 8. We'll still have a couple of singular cells that we're watching for a chance of tornadoes as well as hail, but any of these bands here could potentially be, again, producing high winds, kind of similarly to today, but a little less intensity on those winds. And then just, again, a whole mess of storms through the High Plains and the West Texas Panhandle for tomorrow. So again, ping pong to golf ball sized stones possible through eastern Colorado, eastern New Mexico, anywhere else, all the way from Midland, Odessa up into Cheyenne, could see at least quarters to $50. And again, Denver all the way down into Pueblo for tomorrow could potentially see some larger hail up to maybe ping pong and golf ball sized stones for the early afternoon once those storms start rolling through. And then seeing size taper off as we move off to the east. For wind, again, pretty much from Cheyenne down into Midland, Odessa, could see some strong winds, keeping everybody low end across the board for that risk. But if you're in any of those areas where you start to see bowing structures or long lines of thunderstorms, then your chance of wind will go up into tomorrow. So stay tuned to your forecast. For tornadoes, it's just going to be where we're seeing those singular cells tracking through, up through eastern Colorado, far southwestern Kansas, and into the Oklahoma and Texas panhandles for tomorrow. So Clovis and Guymon, Oklahoma are the two, big cities in that risk area. So be on the lookout if you guys are through there. Just a couple of very scattered storms could produce tornadoes into tomorrow's, forecast. So stay tuned. Now for your 5cast, for Denver, Dallas, and OKC. Starting with Denver, you guys are going to look completely different than Dallas and OKC. Got rain chances across the board here for the week, and at least 50 to 60 for the latter half of the week. Staying in the 70s and 80s for today through Saturday, so going to be pretty nice. Going to see weather dropping down a little bit in temperatures for the start of your weekend. But again, you got back-to-back-to-back storm chances as those showers just continue to move off the mountains. We're just watching in terms of severity to see what we could get on the day-to-day as those storms continue to move through. For Oklahoma City and Dallas, going to start out sunny in the 80s today and tomorrow. Then we got some rain chances starting to move through Thursday into Saturday. Really watching Friday and Saturday for those severe storm potential as well. So starting at 81 on Friday with a 60% chance of rain, and then those showers will drop us down into the mid-70s for your Saturday with another chance for some severe storms tracking through. Pretty similar now for DFW, shifting things a little bit towards Saturday for your storm timing, but could see some showers today, and then should be clearing out into Wednesday through Friday with 80s and 90s for your highs. So should be really nice. Good time to get out on roofs and do some work, do some door knocking if you need to do that for the 5 stars you guys got this year. And then Saturday, we're back into it with those storm chances and a potential to see severe weather returning. So stay tuned towards the later half of this week if you guys are in the South Plains, and we'll see how that risk evolves as we get closer to it. So that's what we got for the next 48 hours. If you guys want to follow us, you can get us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Hit See First on Facebook so you never miss a live video. Smash that subscribe button everywhere else. And then if you want to get in contact with us, you can go ahead and scan that QR code up above me or click the link in our description for a demo of our products or to sign up. We map every severe storm that happens across the nation live. We map hail, wind, tornado, hurricane, whatever is severe, we're on it. So you guys can get that tool to make sure you're always in tune for where severe weather is happening across the nation. If you want more info, you can give us a call at 855-334-4245. Email us at info@hailtrace.com or check out hailtrace.com for more details. And again, if you guys are in any of those risk areas today, tomorrow, or in the later part of this week, stay tuned to your weather. Stay tuned to our pages for updates. And for now, I'm meteorologist Andrea Myers. Thanks for watching.